anyone familiar with the World of Darkness knows most players do a bit of homebrewing for their games. I am currently running a Mage the Ascension game using rules from Chronicles of Darkness, World of Darkness, a little mix of Fate Core, and even some powered by the Apocalypse. What we're going to work on today is the XP system in MoreCore. In the World of Darkness, XP is more like a currency, where at the end of each session, players are given XP, and then they spend that XP to raise their stats. Unlike D&D, where XP is more like a status. Once you reach a certain number of XP, all of your stats raise. MoreCore has a great spot to collect this information, and you could use the rule set without changing anything. But with just a little code tweaking, we can make it feel not forced, and the platform will act a little more as one would expect when running a World of Darkness game. So let's dive in. Okay, let's get started. So once you open up your Fantasy Grounds, you want to either create a new campaign, or if you've already have one created, go ahead and load that up. What I'm doing is I am running a MoreCore test, and if you do not have the MoreCore rule set, please follow the link that's down below. It will take you to this website, and on the first post you will see this file here. Go ahead and download it. Alright, so you grab it out of your downloads and you will drop it into your rule sets. So wherever your Fantasy Grounds data folder is, go into your rule sets and paste it in there. Mine is already here, and that will give you this option that's here on the create a new campaign screen. I already have one built, so let's go ahead and load that up. Now I'm loading this up without any extensions, and so we could see how it currently behaves. So let's open up our character, and this is where the experience section is located. Now this could work. We could earn 5 experience, and the player will just go ahead and mark up their experience. They can use the required field to say, okay, I've spent 3 experience. If they want to use this level field in some way, they could say, I have 2 experience left. Oop, I see this does something. This might not be helpful. So we'll think about what we'll do with that there. And it looks like it also removed the required. So yeah, we don't want to do that either. So these are things that we're just going to want to think about. A player could just use these 2 fields and be done with it, not even worry about the level, and they'll be okay to play without any coding necessary. Now let's open up the party sheet and look at the XP section. Okay, we need to load the party up into here. To do that, open up the characters and just drag and drop them into, drag and drop them into the watch order. They don't have to go in any particular order. And now you should see them loaded here in the party section. Okay, great. So in World of Darkness, when at the end of the session, the storyteller usually says, okay, everybody take 5 XP, or 3 XP, or 7 XP, whatever the number is that they say. And then everybody records it. So if I want to give out 5 XP, I would type in 5 here, and I would hit award. And so what happened? It looks like these guys did not quite get 5 XP. This one already had 5 XP, so now they have 6. And it looks like over here it says 1 XP went to each one of these characters. Okay, so this makes sense when you think about it in Dungeons & Dragons or other D20 type of games. The XP is given out as a huge chunk, and then all the players split it up. This is usually done per encounter or per quest or whatever task is given that they'll earn this much XP. In World of Darkness, you usually just earn XP once at the very end of session, and all the players usually get about the same amount. Sometimes a player might do something exceptional and the storyteller will give them an extra one, but that's not what I'm looking for here. So this is something that I'm going to want to adjust to make the experience a little bit better. So I could just type in 5, everybody will get 5. So that's something that we're going to have to consider. I see that looking here at Bob the Dob, the 6 and the 3, those seem to be linked. So when I change it over here, it changes it over there. I can't change it here. That's okay. I don't need to change it here. All right, so it looks like we got a pretty good plan. You're going to be accessing the party sheet a lot, so you might want to move this down here to shortcut 4. All I did was I grabbed the PS, the party sheet button, and I grabbed and dropped it down here on the shortcut for 4. This way you have a quick way of opening this. The last thing you want to do is just be aware of, are there any current errors that are showing? So open up the console window, and I'm going to shrink this window a little bit so we could see everything at the same time. Open up the console window, and I'm going to move stuff around on here. Okay, I'm not seeing any errors pop up, but I'm seeing this anchor static height ignored. Looks like it's part of this. Yep. Okay, so this is yelling a lot. I'm going to do you guys a favor, and I'm just going to post a real quick patch to remove these, because I want you to focus on what's actually happening and not on these errors that are popping up. So I'm going to pause the video real quick. I'll add that, and then we'll come back. Down below, you should see a link for the Git repository. And in there, you should see this MoreCore error fix temp.ext. I do not recommend leaving this on all the time, just for this video, as these errors might be fixed in a future release of MoreCore. But place it into your Fantasy Grounds data folder extensions. And when you reopen Fantasy Grounds, you should see this pop up here. This reads temp MoreCore error fix. This is a crude little fix just to get rid of the errors, so let's go ahead and give it a try. Once it opens up, pop open your character sheet, and I'm not seeing the PC link, and I get to the notes page, and we're not getting flooded with errors. So let's get back to why we're really here. In your Git repository, you should have a folder called extension MoreCore base. I highly recommend dropping that into some kind of templates folder, just so you can have, and you don't need to start from scratch every time. From there, copy it out and place it into your Fantasy Grounds classic data folder, extensions. And once pasted, I like to do a couple things. First, I want to name it obviously something that makes sense to the project that we're doing. So I'm going to name it World of Darkness, or WOD underscore XP Awards. Sounds good. And then I go ahead and open up this folder in IntelliJ. Just go to File, Open, Fantasy Grounds. This is why I keep it in such a simple folder to quickly get to. Fantasy Grounds Classic, Extensions, World of Darkness, XP Awards. And now that it's opened up, the first place I go is to the extension folder, which is already open. And I give this a name. So in here, I'm going to call it what it is. World of Darkness XP Awards. In here, I'm going to give a brief description. Something for me to understand. I go ahead and I leave it at version 0.0.1, and I leave my name in there. If you want to change it to your name, feel free, because you're actually going to be doing this with me. And then I copy the name, and I put it down here for the announcement. And then it already has the rest of the stuff for me. Feel free to make some changes here for you as well. And then the very next thing I do is I just want to see this load. Save it, and then reopen Fantasy Grounds. Go to your campaign. The temp should already be checked. And make sure the World of Darkness XP Awards is checked. Hit start. We honestly shouldn't see any change except for the splash screen pop up. So you can see that my temp fixes in here, and then also the World of Darkness XP awards. But we still are probably calling this experience, required level, not what we want. I wish it was that easy. Okay, so what do we want to do first? We have the character sheet and we have the party sheet. The character sheet, we want to change this to read like experience, spent, and remaining, or something along those lines. And we want to fix the XP here on the party sheet so it goes the same amount to everybody. I think it's probably going to be easiest to start with the character sheet first. So let's do that. I need to find experience required. Experience is probably a word that's used a couple times. Required might not be. So let's try to find this. Okay, so back in IntelliJ, go to Open and open up that folder that I told you guys to make about the open rule sets and extensions. And open it up in a new window. Once the new window is open, I try to close everything, just try to keep a clean slate. And I want to search in MoreCore for the word required. So I right click on the MoreCore folder. I go to find in path. That limits my searching. And I type in required. And I find it here. String name, character label, exp needed, required. Double click it so I can open up that file. And then I need to see where this is used. What this is a string file that basically has all the words that Damned uses in MoreCore. A neat thing that you could do with this is one day if somebody wants to translate this into another language, they only need to come here and translate all the words, and then it should just work. So we're going to use this, since we know the word required is here, we're going to use this to find where it's at on the character sheet. So I'm going to double click the string name and press Control-Shift-F, and that's going to search for all uses of it. And I can see that it's used, obviously, where I'm at, but it's also used on the record character notes XML page. So I load it up, and here it is. Yep, I see the EXP needed. I'm sorry, there's EXP needed, and level. So these are the three things I'm going to edit. So let's just make this easy. I'm going to copy this file over. It's located right here under MoreCore campaign and record character notes. If you're not sure where to find it, just hover over this tab and it'll tell you where it's located. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to open back up my extension that I'm working on. Click on campaign, press Control V or right click and click paste. I'm going to paste the file in there. Then I just want to clean up a lot of stuff that's in here. We don't need the script. Sheet data is something that's necessary. And the reason why I know it's necessary because if I collapse sheet data, then I can see everything is in sheet data. And now I got to find where the EXP, here it is. These are the three pieces that we need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to destroy everything above and below it. Cut it. And I'm going to go down here, grab everything between the sheet datas, delete, and paste. And then just do a little cleanup. It's not necessary, but I like doing it. First thing that we need to do is add this to our extension. Damned is already merging this with the core version, and so we're just going to merge on top of his. If this wasn't here, we would need to add this so we can merge into his code. But open up the extension, and we're going to need another line for XML. So click on this line, press Control D, it'll duplicate it, and then right click on record character notes, go to copy path, and pick the one that reads campaign / record character notes.xml, and paste it inside of those quotes. Now we want to make just one small change just to make sure this is working. So we have these three labels that are happening here. Let's go ahead and open up the strings, and then right click on strings, click split vertically so we can have it on one screen, and on the other screen we want to have the record character notes. So we need three of these, so Control D twice so we can have it. Character label experience. We could put it in there. And let's call this, I don't know, total XP. Let's call this one spent and remains. We'll save this. And let's load it. Let's just see if what we did makes sense. It's open up the character sheet, go to notes, and you can see total XP, spent, and remains are here. Great. Now, what I want to happen is if I change this 8 here, I want that to change how much remains. Also, if I change the spent, I want that to also change what the remains. Basically, it should be the total XP minus the spent equals the remains. So let's figure out how to do that. Let's come back over to our IDE, and we are going to need a script to handle this. So first things first, let's build the script. Under campaign scripts, just right click on scripts, go to new. You could click on new Lua file, but if you don't have that, you could just click on file and then type in what we want to call it. exp_math. That should work. expmath.lua. If you clicked on the Lua file, you don't need the .lua, but if you click on the new file, you're going to want to add the .lua. After adding your first Lua, IntelliJ might ask you, do you want to install a Lua extension? Go ahead and do it. You don't have to, but it's helpful. I pulled this up real quick just in case it does ask you what type of Lua extension you want installed. This was the one I chose. It should be a choice on there for you. This is not necessary, but I like it. Okay, so what next? We could pretty much assume that this number label is a number field, but let me show you how to verify. So let's grab it, Control C, and then open up your open rules and extensions, and let's search for number label. So paste it in here, and we are going to scroll down until we find the template named number label. Cool, this is a basic number. All right, let's do that again and figure out what a basic number is. So copy, do the search, go find basic number as a template. That's basic number black, blue, green, red. Oh, I'm in MoreCore, so I'm not seeing it. So let's back out MoreCore so we're looking at all of them. And let me just throw a quote here. There we go. Template name, basic number. It's a simple number. A simple number, a thing. Yep, there's a template for a simple number. And then we get all the way down to number. And I pretty much know from experience that number is a primitive. So now let's go over to our handy dandy site. You'll find this link down in the below. But let's look up number. And we have number control. That should do. And from here, kind of just want to find what we're looking for. So this is a bunch of the XML makeup that number control could do. But I want to go down in here and see get font. It's not what I need. Get max, min, value. There's a lot of good stuff here. Get value. This is something that we're probably going to be using. Definitely going to be using. On enter, a lot of these ons are very important to pay attention to. I want the on value changed because that's when I want this to function. So function on value change. Let's go back over to our Lua and close this. Oh, this is the open rules and extensions. I need the other one. What are we working on? Here we go. In here, I'm going to put the function on value change. Press enter. All functions begin with function. They all end with end. And then I need some math. So let's call it local total exp. Yeah, whatever. And then I want to pull from the exp window. So window.exp dot, and remember the get value that I mentioned earlier? That's important. So let's get that. Caps is important, so get value. And then I want to also minus window dot exp needed dot get value. And then let's just see if this works. So capital D debug dot console is your friend. And how I set this up is I do quotes. So the breakdown here is debug console. I put in quotes total exp, I put a colon and a space just to let myself know what am I debugging here. And then I put the value in for total exp. So let's just load it up and see what happens. Make sure you pop open your console. I'm going to put it over here just so we could see. And Bob the Dob. Go to my notes. And I'm going to change this. Okay, nothing's happening. Cool, because I forgot something. We need to actually call this to happen. So over here, we need to add a script. Give it a name. Names are important. I don't know. Oh, the name of the actual script, exp math. And then file. And then go grab it. Copy path. And then do a /. So since this element is complete, we could just do a / to cut it off here. If you want to learn more about XML, there's a lot of really good tutorials out there on YouTube. I'll try to help you out as much as I can, though. And I want that to happen with both the exp and exp needed. So I'm going to do it both for both places. Save. Let's try this again. All right, console. Open up my character. Notes. All right, so I changed this. Oh, here we go. So we're seeing the numbers actually show up here. 8 minus 0 is 8. Sure enough. Let's make this 2. 8 minus 2 is 6. Great. Let's make this 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. Cool. We're returning the right value. So we know we're getting somewhere. Okay, if you remember, level did something that we didn't really want. It threw in this extra text and it spammed it to the chat. And that's not what we're using this field for anymore. So before we do this, we want to change this field. So let's jump back over here, and to simply do this, just got to rename it. First, we got to remove it. So let's get rid of level, copy, paste it, / merge. Oops, I'm sorry. No / merge equals delete. And put a /. So we killed that. And then here we will just call this remains. exp remains. And I like to call my sources _source. So it's the name of the object or the element, and then the source is just the same name _source. And it's still going to be anchored to exp needed. Everything else stays the same. Um, so we should be good here. Let's reload. All right, go to notes. And when I change this, cool, we're not seeing the spam anymore. And then from here, I actually like to move these up above. One, because I want to guarantee that it's happening first, but two, just so I could see what did I remove. And also I enjoy spacing, but that's me. Feel free to do whatever it is that you like. But remember that XML is scripting, so what happens first happens first. So if you put this below, it's going to be weird. It should still work just because of what it is, but it's going to be weird. Anyways, so let's take exp remains, type in window dot exp remains dot set value, open, copy the total exp, put it in here, and you can learn about set value right from here on the site. Put the value number in there. And when we do this, it should work. Open up the character, notes. So as I change this, the number over here is changing. As I change this, 4 minus 2 is 2. So math still works. 8 minus 2 is 6. This is great. But I could change this, and then that's weird. So maybe we want to stop users from changing this. Well, this is one way that we could do it. Just add in a read-only tag. And that should do it. Oops. So loading, loading, loading. All right. So 7 2 5, 7 4 is 3, and I can't adjust this. Great. We are done with this piece. So I've decided to break this up into 2 videos. On my next video, I will show you how to alter the party sheet for when we press award. It will give the proper amount of XP to each character. I'll see you next time.